Hello entrepreneurs, welcome back to the Entrepreneurship Channel, the channel where future business leaders come to get inspired. Today I'll be presenting to you the first episode of Business Titans, and today we're diving deep into the life of one of my favorite business titans, Kevin O'Leary, aka Mr. Wonderful. So Kevin O'Leary is a Canadian businessman, investor, TV personality and author. Kevin O'Leary was born in 1954 in Montreal, Quebec, and his mom gave him $10,000 to start his first company called SoftKey. And he developed SoftKey into a large business, and in 1995 he acquired the Learning Company for $606 million, and they also adopted its name. In 1999, Mattel acquired the Learning Company for $4.3 billion, and that gave Kevin O'Leary a big payday. And guys, stick till the end of the video because I'm going to give you a very special bonus. Alright, so here are the 6 rules from Kevin O'Leary about investing and business. Rule number 1, diversify.
Diversification is the only free lunch in investing, and I see this happen so many times. Here's my basic lesson that I've learned that I never vary from, and this works. Trust me, it works. Never more than 5% of your portfolio in any one name, no matter how great the story is. If it's the next Nortel, if it's the next RIM, who cares? 5% max weighting. For me, usually it's 2.5 to 3%. I never let a stock get bigger than that in my portfolio. I sell into the strength all the time. Secondly, never, ever, ever more than 20% in any one sector. So if you love gold, you just can't get past 20% of your net worth in gold, or energy, or any other sector, or financial services. So good sectoral diversification is crucial.
Rule number 2, spend the interest, not the principal.
I learned something a long time ago from my mother. You're going to find this fascinating. When I was a 7-year-old boy, and she was working at that time, she used to take me with the bank to her every Thursday. That's when they paid the girls where she worked. And she'd take a third of her paycheck and put it into bonds and dividend-paying stocks. She used to say to my brother and I then, boys, never spend the principal, only the interest. I had no idea what she was talking about, but she was drilling that into my head for a reason I think became very important decades later. After she passed away, I became the executive for her estate. And for the first time, I saw a secret account she kept from both of her husbands her whole life, made up of dividend-paying large-cap stocks and corporate credit. Do you have any idea of the performance of that portfolio? She blew away every indice. I was amazed. And she wasn't a portfolio manager. She was just a concerned mother that needed to have capital no matter what happened. I started to do some research. You may find this fascinating. Over the last 40 years, over 70% of the market's returns have come from dividends, not capital appreciation.
Rule number 3, invest for cash flows.
What's the value of a stock that never returns capital to its shareholders? I don't know. Because the only way you can make money is if somebody else is willing to buy that position at a higher price for some emotional reason perhaps, or for some foresight that maybe the company will return capital one day. And I think of when you learn as an investor over multiple decades is the only thing that matters is free cash flow. That's it. There is no other reason to own a stock. And with that philosophy, it brings you into a place where you focus on a company's ability to generate incremental cash flow, because just owning a dividend-paying stock is not good enough, because let's say we find a stock today that's paying a 3% dividend yield, and tomorrow, because its forecast for sales get cut in half, the stock drops by 50%. Now it's yielding 6%. I don't want to own that stock either. So my tests in this index that I've created with FTSE Russell looks at the balance sheet. Every year we test to make sure that the company is viable in its ability to generate cash. This is extremely conservative investing. This is for the long haul. These tools are not for, as you're suggesting, for spicy, the hot stock du jour. I've done that. I've been there. Let the young legs do that. I have zero interest in that. I don't care what the hot new stock is. When a company comes public, I won't own it either. It's got to prove to me over multiple years that it can continue to generate cash before it even fits into what I'm doing. So I'm really boring, and I like it that way.
So a great company doesn't necessarily have to equal a great stock. They can be two very different things from your perspective.
There's many companies where I buy their products and services, I would never touch their stock. So, it's sort of, we're talking about real money here, the stuff that you need to preserve. When I think about my family trust, I can't afford to mess around with it.
Rule number 4, keep it simple.
What investments are you liking today?
I'm liking very simple deals where I can understand the business model. I'll give you an example of how boring and simple and how successful it can be. This is from Shark Tank. I look at a lot of deals on Shark Tank and on Dragon's Den because I invest 5% of my net worth every year in venture deals. So I used to have to go find them. Now they come to me. I've got 2 platforms to work on. This is a Shark Tank deal. So Oprah has a hairdresser. Interesting guy. His hobby was tea. This tea you drink. And he became what's called a nose. He had a certain skill to be able to smell Ceylon teas and blend them. One day he gives, a couple of years ago, a cup of tea to Oprah while he's doing her hair, and she sips it and says, "It's the best tea I've ever had." She goes on the show a half an hour later and says, "This tea, called Talbot Teas, is the best tea I've ever had." He gets orders the next day for $500,000. You know the Oprah effect, You've heard of it, right? He can't finance that. So he comes on Shark Tank and he's looking for $250,000. And I agree to buy 35% of the company for that. I love tea, it's so simple. Gets on Oprah, 500,000 of orders, Neiman Marcus, all kinds of individuals ordering on the internet. Simple. Tea, orders, cash flow, right? While we're in the middle of doing the deal, the show airs, and Jamba Juice, a public company, says, "We want to be in the tea business. We love this story. We love the brand. I want to buy the company." I haven't even written the check yet. And bang, the deal's done.
Wow.
Yes, wow. Yeah. That's the kind of deal I like because it was simple. It's not a complicated tech story. It's tea. Tea with a brand. Now you go into a Jamba Juice anywhere in North America, that's my Talbot Teas. That's right. Isn't that wonderful?
It is wonderful. That's why you are.
Well, that's why I am Mr. Wonderful. But I look at it this way. The simple deals are the ones you make money on.
Okay.
So I take that cash back, I redeploy it. So I like simple stories with revenue attached to them. The high-tech stuff, I came out of that market. It's so complicated, so much can go wrong. So I just love deals where they see an easy path to revenue.
Rule number 5, know your weaknesses.
The key to success as an entrepreneur is not to understand your strengths, it's to understand your weaknesses. Now, here's what I knew I was weak at. Logistics. Manufacturing and shipping logistics bores the crap out of me. I'm just not interested in it. When Walmart came on board and said, "Look, we're going to change this whole industry and we're going to make you our guys in educational software," we had the challenge of moving 80 million units. I can't do that. That's not my skill set. Michael Perrick, on the other hand, is myopically focused at that kind of thing. And I knew that. He was one of our shareholders. I went and approached him and said, "Listen, why don't you leave your PE firm, okay? I'll give up the title of CEO. You're going to be the CEO. Your number one role is going to be logistics. Because if we're not successful at this, we're going to fail. This is the only thing that matters, is shipping these units all around the world." He looked at me and said, "What's in it for me?" I said, "You know what? I own a ton of stock, lots and lots of it. I'll make a deal with you. I'll make us equal partners." And this is how, and I'll tell you, in the book, in writing it, I looked at every transaction where I've made money, not just learning companies, Storage Now, the O'Leary funds, deals before that. All the deals where I made money were partnerships. All the ones where I had catastrophic failures are things I tried to do myself. So I've learned now that it's much better to partner with somebody who actually fills in the holes.
Rule number 6, know how to execute.
Every entrepreneur I meet is very passionate. That's just part of the equation. I actually argue that what matters most is executional skills. Every entrepreneur is passionate. Everybody that's an entrepreneur is ready to take that journey and go down that road, and that's great. But the ones that are still doing it 3 years later have executional skills. So that's what I think matters above everything else. I meet lots of teams, I fund lots of companies, I see lots of failure and lots of successes. The difference is men and women, primarily women these days, that can really execute, that set goals, tell you what they are, talk to you every 3 months saying I achieved this goal or I didn't, and why. And to me, that's the building block of a business. There's nothing worse than vision all day long. Vision's easy. Execution is hard.
Alright guys, it's bonus time. So I know a lot of you guys would be interested in becoming a successful investor in your future, but you don't want to pick up a thick book. But guys, I've got your back. Down below in the description, I'll be leaving a link to the Young Investors podcast. This is a podcast which I listen to on investing, and it's an amazing podcast which gives you a lot of learning on the world of investing and how to select good stocks. Thank you for watching this video guys. If you want to be part of our learning community, then hit the subscribe button down below. If you learned something new from the video, go hit the like button down below and comment your favorite quote from Kevin O'Leary. Thank you for watching guys.